The Preakness is the one day of the year where the entire state, the entire region, frankly the entire country, if not the whole world, looks at the state of Maryland and says, what's happening? What happened at the Preakness? And for us even to consider letting that race go someplace else and think that's okay, to me would be just a horrible mistake.
Yes, indeed it would be. That was Kevin Plank, founder of Under Armour and owner of Sagamore Farms. I'm Stan the Fan Charles, your host for another edition of Inside PressBox. Earlier this month, I had the opportunity to talk to Kevin at Sagamore Farms, and later in the show, we'll show you a little bit more of my conversation with Kevin. We'll also talk with the newly appointed assistant head coach of the Chesapeake Bayhawks, Dave Cottle, about what he expects from his new role and how he plans on approaching the 2011 Bayhawks season. But first, I'd like to welcome my friend Ted Venetoulis, who's joining us in the studio. Ted is a former Baltimore County executive, a novelist, and the first guest of today's show. Ted Venetoulis, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Ted, we had some exciting news, and the big news is coming down the road, but we're doing a joint venture. Our company, your company, Corridor Inc., Corridor, C-O-R-R-I-D-O-R.
Like the Baltimore-Washington
Corridor,
right.
Okay, and Center, Maryland.
Yes, great
We're
website.
creating a website together, a landing spot, and we'll get into more about that at a
Yeah.
later date.
Right.
But part of the way to monetize this is by having events.
Right.
And we're having an event coming up June the 16th about monetizing the internet,
And
ironically enough.
branding your website to increase your revenues, which is what has to happen today in the media business. And the featured speakers are, oddly enough, someone from Under Armour and an executive from Google. So it'll be a great conference. It's on June the 16th, and a lot of people may want to get their companies there because we're all in the same boat in the news media. Television, radio, magazines.
Well, you've tried for years. I mean, first of all, you were very successful in the publishing business with Patuxent Publishing. You did the Towson Times and all those kind of things. But you've dabbled in an interest in the Sun papers for years, but now you're into the internet.
Well, we haven't finished up with the Sun papers.
I understand.
They're in bankruptcy, and we got to wait for that to come out.
But while you've got some spare change, you're looking into the internet.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's where the whole world is going. And if you don't get to it reasonably soon and be creative, as we're trying to be with you and Center Maryland and us cooperating, no one's going to make it.
All right. Now, how can people reserve their spots for this event on June the 16th?
Well, they can contact you guys directly. They all
PressBoxOnline.com.
Or they can go to Corridor Inc., www.corridorinc.com, and you know, we'll be able to arrange for them to do whatever they want to do.
All right, and that's June the 16th, a breakfast event that will take place from, say, 7:30 to 11 o'clock, something like that.
And you know, the speakers will stay for a panel and all that. It should be interesting.
All right.
The governor's going to come and give some opening remarks, by the way.
All right, Governor Martin O'Malley. All right, we've got half our time is already spent promoting that. But I wanted to have you in the time we have to talk a little bit about the late William Donald Schaefer and an effort that you made, and you got him involved with trying to bring the Colts name back after Robert Irsay had left. We got about 2.5 minutes.
Okay, it's a long story, but we'll try to get it there. After Irsay left, we sued him. Don Schaefer sued him. Eminent domain. We lost. After that, Irsay called. He called me because he thought I was one of the few people that could deal with it.
Would talk to him,
right? Would talk to Schaefer and talk to him. And I had gotten him the practice field at Owings Mills. He said, look, we got to end this. You can't let Schaefer appeal. I've already spent $1 million. He spent $1 million. We won. Let's talk, negotiate, do something. Very quickly, I went to Schaefer. I said, you know, Don, this guy called me after he chewed me out for 30 minutes. Every word you can think of that would have filled the entire Russian army, you know. I said, Don, calm down. We lost. Let's see if we can get this guy. He took us for a ride. Let's take him for a ride. He said, all right, go to it. So from that point on, we conducted a series of private, secret meetings with Michael Chernoff. I mean,
his attorney.
His attorney at the time. I didn't want anyone to know we were dealing with Irsay. They'd have lynched me. Don didn't want to know. So we had these secret meetings all over the country. We had Chicago, Washington. And we ended up getting, we got all the paraphernalia. We got the right. We got them to agree to vote for us if we had an expansion team.
Okay.
We got them to pay the legal fees for the city, which is $1 million, and we got the ballpark, the practice field back. We paid about $3 million. They wanted $5, which is what it was worth, but we bargained them down. I think the city sold it for $7-8 million, and we got the Colt name back. If we got a franchise within 5 years, now I wanted 10. They wanted 3. I went to 7. We settled on 5, and it's tragic because we owned the name for those 5 years. Not a lot of people knew that.
Not a lot of people knew that. No.
But we didn't get the team in 5 years.
It took
those
additional
6, 7, whatever it was.
If we'd gotten it at the expansion, we probably
would have had the name. That's exactly right. After that, they said you had to pay for it, but they weren't going to sell it because they were right. It became embedded in Indianapolis. So it was quite intriguing. Not a lot of people knew about all that. It was
now you can tell the story
because
William Donald didn't want you to tell it. Hey, thank you very much for coming in, Ted. We look forward to seeing you on June the 16th again. You can go to our website, PressBoxOnline.com, or his, CarterInc.com, and reserve your spot for the breakfast on the 16th. This portion of Inside PressBox has been brought to you by the Maryland Lottery's Double Play Scratch Off. Scratch the front, peel the back, plus enter non-winning tickets at mdlottery.com/doubleplay for a chance to win cash and great Orioles prizes.